I never really liked the up part of construction. Like doing stuff on the ground, like doing woodwork and learning how to do carpentry and all of these things, that was great until I built a scaffolding out of the stuff that I'd learned. And then I had to climb the scaffolding and stand on the scaffolding so I can install insulation and drywall in the ceiling of a giant work shed barn area.
Nothing really checks your confidence like having to use something that you made or you
Yeah.
repaired.
Son,
Yeah.
it was a solid floor. Like I don't say that I have the confidence to be able to do this, but at the time with the tools that he had, I could probably have built a house. Like I knew a lot of shit about carpentry in that little bit of time because this old World War II veteran decided that he needed to teach this young kid something that he can take along in life. And that was my first job. I got paid $7 an hour. I was 15 years old.
Hey, that's great for that age.
At 15, he said, "I don't. If he said, I don't think if a person's not worth $7 an hour, they're probably not worth much anything."
It's true. It's true. Now, I've seen some of the worst injuries happen during construction jobs.
Oh, construction is scary. There's a
Well, I
reason
had a
OSHA
boss
exists.
break both a rib and his asshole in one fell swoop.
I lost
the
an
same
entire
time?
sweatshirt.
Yes, in the same injury.
Wait,
he
repeat
broke a
that one more
rib
time.
and his asshole.
In a fall?
Yes.
How? Oh, did he
I-
land on?
Okay. So,
Because I was going to talk about something that happened to me, but that's mine wasn't an injury. I didn't register rib and asshole in the
Yes.
same injury.
in the same injury.
That's like a distance, you know.
Well, he fell a distance. So I was doing spray foam insulation.
It's not funny though. Why am I?
No, it was very funny. I laughed after. It was an individual that Otto, you and I went to church with. You may or may not remember him. Well, he was known for redneck engineering things on the job. We were on, it was like an outside patio that was going to be eventually a enclosed patio. Well, the customer wanted the roof part to be spray foam insulated. The particular kind we were using, it would have been fine in an outdoor setting as long as it's covered like that, so it wasn't gonna, degrade and wash away. But anyway, so you can get what is called like a baker scaffold. It's a really small guy. It's like a step ladder on wheels. Okay. So we had that on one side because the roof was very sloped. So to get to the bottom part, you needed just a little bit, but as you moved up, it got to the point where you needed 2 layers of scaffold.
Okay.
You need a
Okay.
double stack scaffold.
Yes. And instead of having to get up and down and up and down and up and down and down and around, we found a laminated beam that was left over, which that is a giant, usually like I want to say 4 inches thick by like 8 inches wide, and it's laminated wood. They use it for like main supports in a house. We took that laminated beam, put it on the top of the big scaffold, and run it down to the bottom of the little scaffold so there's a ramp.
Oh God.
Yes.
That's it?
Hold on.
No, is that all you had
Yes.
for that?
Yes. Brian, I didn't mean to say his name, but Brian was not known for using safety equipment. He's standing on top of the tall scaffold, and he's like, "This is a little wibbly." And he goes, "Tiny, I need you to take that 2x4, put it on the bottom part of this scaffold, and sit on that. You're going to be the ballast." Okay, boss. So I'm sitting on the 2x4. Laminated beam is roughly crotchal region. That's important to the rest of the story. And so I'm looking up, and my job also is to scoot the big scaffold, and the other guy scoots the little scaffold. So we're moving as one unit, okay, when it's time to move.
Mm-hmm.
So Brian starts at the top. He sprays down, move to next section. He sprays up. We get to about the 3rd to 4th section. And it's the final section. It's the final countdown.
It's always the last one.
Yes.
Overconfidence and ready to be done.
Well, he wasn't even going fast because, Brian was the kind, he's like, if we're going to do it, we're going to take our time and do it right. Mostly. We're going to rig some stuff, but when it comes to what the customer gets, that's going to be right. Just fuck us and, it's okay. So anyway, he's walking backwards and he's spraying, and I'm watching because I know where I'm sitting. And he gets to the top of the laminated beam, and I see his heel clip the backside of it. And I see it slide forward, and it's coming down towards my stuff, towards my garbage, if you will. So I tuck and roll because I'm not going to get my nuts smashed by that 1,000-pound board for no man. No God nor man will smash my boys like that.
That's a fair.
So I tuck and roll out of there. Brian falls, and on the backside of the scaffolding, he hits his ass so hard that it bends the scaffolding roughly 6 inches. And then he falls into an open doorway. Thankfully, the sliding glass porch door was open. Hits his rib on the inside of the door frame and cracks a couple of ribs. And while he's laying there, he's holding his ass and crying. And I was like, we're going, Brian, are you okay? And he's going, my ass. And we're like, are you okay? And then he kind of chuckles a little bit. Then he goes, oh my God, my ribs. And we're like, we go ahead and we roll up and we leave him there for a little bit because we all rode together, but we determined we want to get out of here more than we want to make sure you're safe at this moment. So we pack up, and then he's kind of wobbling to the edge of the porch. He's like, guys, I don't think I can drive. And we're like, okay. So he throws me the keys, and I'm like, are you okay? He goes, my ass and my ribs hurt so bad. And I'm like, I said, well, I don't know if you saw the dent that you left in the scaffolding, but it was pretty severe. And he's like, I probably am not supposed to ask anybody this that I pay, but I need you to look at my asshole.
You looked, didn't you?
I had to.
How bad was it?
I've never seen an ass more black in my life because the cheeks had the deepest purple line through them, like somebody just tried to cross it out with a Sharpie. And then as he spread his cheeks, it was just a black abyss and with a little bit of blood.
It sounded like a little alien got out of Otto's mouth and like scurried across the room. It was so excited for freedom. It just
the poor guy, he couldn't drive for 3 weeks. He got home and his wife made him go to the hospital and show his asshole to a doctor.
Yeah,
He said, Tony said it looked okay.
yeah. Tony, you're so many authorities on things you're not supposed to be.
No.
Oh,
And his wife was like, who made Tony the asshole authority? Because I was there picking him up for work that day. She was like, go to the hospital. No, it's okay. Tony looked at it and said it was fine. And I hear through the house, who made Tony the asshole authority?
Oh, God damn.
Oh, it was so good.
oh man, if you remember
I feel
titles
so
of
sorry.
episodes,
I have
you
to go
could
pee.
Tiny the asshole authority. I guess we got enough time for Otto to go pee, and we're gonna hit that
We're gonna
theme
put that
song.
theme song.
And once Otto gets back from peeing, we'll get back into the episode. Everybody, enjoy the music.
Gather round, you mates of mine, for tales of nerds and lore. Three best friends on a podcast line with laughs and chats galore. From comics breaks and movies. To galaxies far, we dive into each quest. With theories wild and memes that spar, we're surely blessed, no jest. We'll chat of heroes, foes, and plots, and all the trends that shine. With every laugh, we'll tie the knots in our nerdy design. Heave-ho, raise a glass to the stories we entwine. With laughter loud and knowledge vast, nerd it through the grapevine. Heave-ho, come join the crew, we'll share our tales divine. From D&D to MCU, nerd it through the grapevine.
Whew, okay, I'm ready to go now, boys. Let's go.
And we are Nerd It Through the Grapevine, the podcast where three best friends gather weekly to talk about our favorite parts of past, present, and future nerd culture. I'm Austin Shazam Pfeiffer.
I'm Otto, the converted Cogdale.
And I'm tiny. Hold on.
Hell yes. I love it. I love it. We should get matching ones.
Amazon.
Can we all get them and wear them next week, please?
Are you okay?
Hey, he did it me.
What, you don't like Philly cheesesteaks with queso? What else do you think
That
a
Arby's
queef
beef
is?
and cheddar.
Queef Queen.
What is that?
Queef Queen.
That
It's like a Philly cheesesteak, but with queso.
that's
That's
not
what a queef is.
that's not at all what you know. That's not what a queef is.
It's definitely what a queef is.
Is that what a version of a queef is on the internet that you found to save yourself?
I mean,
Is that called plausible deniability? Did you find plausible deniability with that cheesesteak with just queso in it?
look, I bought the shirt knowing full well what it was.
Yeah, you
I
did.
fucking knew it.
Look, I came across it on the Amazon and I said, if it's in my size, I'll buy it.
Yeah,
By God, it was.
You know, I think that
20 American dollars.
that's a well spent.
I don't remember which of the couchmen were telling me about you possessing this shirt, but I completely blocked it out that they had told me that you
Those bastards.
they had told me you got this shirt, but I completely forgot about them telling me you got this shirt because logging of all the things that the couchmen talk about,
Well, see,
sometimes it gets lost.
Well,
You just
see,
dump it immediately.
yeah, the couch gnome ended up buying one for him and Angie. This is Queen Laquifa.
Who says that? Who says Queen Laquifa on
I
it?
don't-
Is it Couch Gnome or Angie?
He got two of them. They got matching pairs of Queen Laquifa shirts now.
Oh.
I started a
Are you-
trend.
Are you okay? That was the most desperate water drink I've ever seen. It looks like you were fighting for your life.
I just, you're wearing it in the privacy of your own podcast. I can only imagine, them just wearing it to work.
I mean,
Just
he,
a
How many
Walmart.
times has he wore the shirt that says "I like to jerk it off as much as I can"?
Oh, with the fish
it
on
has a
it.
fish on it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not. That's
Also,
not,
he bought that because I sent it to him.
You should get him one of those like "Women love me, fish fear me" hats or something.
Women don't love him.
No,
when
I can't remember what the saying is, but it's like
get him a shirt that says "less podcasting, more rodcasting."
Ooh,
or I'm a real masturbator.
Yep,
They make
he
one
probably has one of those.
probably 5 or 6 of them, probably different colors, but he only wears the black
with
ones.
different imprints on them.
Like the gray ones are left if he forgot to wash the black clothes that he's got, but he's gotten so many black clothes over the years that he just.
Usually, the gray shirts he wears they used to be black.
I was about to say, I think that the grays that he does have might have one point been black. But
Absolutely.
that's because I get rid of shirts once they get to a because once that black fades out into a gray, then the shirt becomes a cardboard like consistency, like
Yep.
those old like because that's mostly like a Gildan shirt.
oh, those Gildan shirts.
Unless that Gildan it's the one that you got that's from your old marching band that became a silk shirt after X amount of washes.
So actually, I think what that was it was finally aged. So back in my band camp days, back in my marching band days, you would have to wear your band shirts on Friday for the games. It was like how the football players wore their jerseys.
Yeah.
You'd wear your marching band shirt for that show.
That was your jersey.
Right. So my mom would get me two because I would also like to just wear these shirts out because it was something I liked being a part of.
Yeah.
So she would get me one that I could just wear anytime I wanted, and then one that was my nice one that I could only wear on Fridays. And all the ones that were my just wear rounds are ratted out, and I don't remember where they are, and I think I may have threw them away at some point. And these are my nice ones that were only worn and washed once a week. And I think somehow between that and the fine aging of I haven't wore these in a decade has just turned it into the softest, like just best outside shirt I put on in a while. Because while we were playing some disc golfing on Wednesday when there was like a little bit of nice weather before the tornado came in, I was like, I need to wear something, and I don't want to put on like a super heavy shirt. And I just found this in the closet, put it on. I was like, holy shit, this feels so good. And it's also from 2012, over a decade
I
old.
mean, I still have all of my school-related T-shirts and things. I have them in a box. I've got all my football jerseys, my practice jerseys. I've got my shirts from the musicals that we put on. I just have them all in a little box.
Yeah, I have some of those because like I don't.
I wore all of mine to death. Like my Sound of Music shirt, the Sound of Music black shirts. You had one.
I still have it.
That was one of the best quality shirts I'd ever had in my life for no reason. Like it had no reason to be
You
as
would
good of a
get
shirt.
some of those, like some of the Gildan shirts. I don't know. My band shirts weren't. They were rough for the first couple times. So you get about 2 or 3 washes in, and they loosened up enough to where they were a good like quality weight T-shirt.
Well, then the other shirts we had made by the same company with the same material, we had done them
It
for
was soft something.
soft wash. Was it soft wash?
No, I think it was something with a C.
Softies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, softies. The Gildan made a lot of them. Softies was the good stuff because anytime Softies had stuff, like they had like the opposite Warrior shirts because you had the maroon and gray Warrior shirts that like the school would make, and then a bunch of people went amongst themselves and made some Softies with the black Warriors shirts. And people started getting in trouble for game days and like stuff
Making
for school,
counterfeit
for school
merch.
like school spirit days and stuff, and people would be wearing their black Warriors shirt, and they're like, well, "That's not school That's not representing your school. That's not the team colors." Like, bro, it's a better looking shirt.
I mean, it was. Well, they wanted them to be maroon and gray. Honestly, looking back, that was probably one of the best color schemes for a high school.
Yeah, mine
Yeah,
was
that-
blue and white.
Yeah. Cookville was what, like blue and red or something?
It's like
Yeah.
it's like red and like a
But
navy
there's
blue.
just something just stately and majestic about the maroon and gray.
I've never heard someone talk about a high school color scheme as stately and majestic.
Well, have you seen it?
I did not go to Sparta.
No, you should go and see the White County High School marching band uniforms. They're white and maroon and gray. Because they always have the traditional white painter pants, like marching pants. And the White County's always a little bit more ballsy, in my opinion, because they go with white marching pants. Because white marching pants, white marching shoes, you can't hide your mistakes.
Right. We did black shoes, black pants because we were a small school.
Were you guys the Devils?
Blue Devils.
Yeah, we made fun of y'all.
Yeah, that's fair. It's Jackson County. We were very small.
Not to
school.
be mean about it, but we tried
Well,
our.
how many band competitions had Sparta won up to that point? A lot of them.
We won quite a few band competitions back in my day.
Yeah, in my day, Jackson County won. Like we were top of our class. We were a better concert band. We went to state and got superiors every year in like my high school year for concert band. But marching band, we were there. We were a small but mighty. Sometimes
Now your low brass section though, they were small but
All right,
mighty.
we're getting in the weeds. We're getting in the weeds.
No way, because I was going to tell everybody how mature we were real quick because nobody
Okay.
mentioned that one time at band camp I put a flute in my pussy.
I thought it, but I just moved past it.
Well, I just wanted to just give us all pats on the backs.
I mean, I
because
appreciate
we've all grown up enough to register that in our heads when somebody mentions band, but not actually say it.
Yeah.
Today's episode, we're going to talk a little bit about some, I guess, fantasy universes. Whose idea was
It
this?
was
Who
mine,
this?
and it's historical fiction.
Historical fiction. Well, that's fantasy,
No,
is it not?
no.
That well,
Not really.
It's something taking place in a specific time in history, but it has a fictional take on it.
But
Yeah,
not
it's-
like
it's
fantasy,
historic
like
fiction.
Wizard and
Yeah,
Dragon.
fantasy is like wizards, dragons, magic, that sort of thing.
Oh, so you can't think like
No,
okay.
We're not like alternate universe stuff.
So you're talking like period pieces.
Like Spartacus, it is a story about like a Roman, like an actual like event, but there's a little Hollywood twist on it.
Well, as it happens, sometimes I do get confused.
Well,
on
they don't even
topics.
have to be about historical events. They could just be about historical time frames, like Dances with Wolves.
And that's a
Best
really cool
Kevin
thing about
Costner
it.
movie that's ever existed.
I had never watched Dances with Wolves, y'all. As much as I love to watch movies, and as much as I got Cowboys Times written all over me for some points of these last few months, I'd never watched Dances with Wolves. And Tiny looks at me dead in my eyes one day, and he starts speaking Sioux Indian.
I did.
Is that what you sent in that text message?
Yes.
That was what he sent, very poorly spelled.
So
Well, no, actually, the one that that's the more appropriately spelled out one that looks all funky. That's the actual Sioux language that I copy pasted off of the internet. So I
can't spell Sioux.
yeah I
I
looked
can't
at
really speak Sioux. I just know one phrase and a couple of little words.
SUIOX.
Yep.
So what I used to think it was Suey, but that's what a pig you do
Right.
to a pig.
Sumani Tutanka Owachi.
That's what he said to me. He looked at me and he said that one more time, Tiny.
Sumani Tutanka Owachi.
Dances with Wolves.
Well, see, that is mine and my sister's movie. Like, we've loved that movie for a very long time. There's times when we're like, hey, she'll call me, I don't feel very happy. And I'm like, you want to watch Dances with Wolves? And she's like, fuck yeah, let's watch some Dances with Wolves. And if we ever see each other in public, it doesn't matter if I just walked in the Walmart and she's back in the milk section. If I can see her, she's getting the Sumani Tutanka Obwachi, and she yells back, I am winding his hair. It's what we do.
I was texting Tiny throughout the majority of that movie because I'd and actually the screwed up thing in the movie is like 3 hours long.
Oh, it's so long.
I also have not watched Dances
It
with
is
Wolves.
3 hours long. I'm at the shop.
You'll feel all the feels.
The ending credits roll. I hadn't watched it, but I had only seen bits and pieces throughout just to see if it looked good enough because some stuff don't hold up for me to be able to watch it unless I've already watched it from back in those days.
You got to
like,
give it the pre-scan.
like Tombstone. Like I've
what?
watched
Tombstone's good.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like Tombstone, I've seen Tombstone so many times that I am okay with whatever might be like bad special effects for the time or something
Okay,
that I would
okay.
nitpick on. Look at because Kevin Costner's beard in the very
Yeah,
beginning,
it's real bad.
it makes me happy that.
Well,
modern-
I think a lot of the beard is real. It's mainly the mustache.
Is it one of those that it was made to be viewed on a CRT at like
Yes.
240p?
Yes, it was because as soon as it got some of that 4K HD happening to it, that is put on with Elmer's glue.
See, that's I am in the
Especially when
boomer
the wind
camp.
blows
Yeah,
and it
because
kind of comes off too far off of
Right,
his
see,
face.
Yep.
See, I'm in the boomer camp of I think movies look worse now because they look better. Some movies look great. Like my nature documentaries, I want to be like crystal sharp 4K, like
Well,
everything.
Here's the thing.
But-
I don't own anything 4K, so the most high def that I see anything in is 1080p, and I'm happy with that.
right.
I don't need 4K.
There's something homey about watching an old movie of the time, or even just a new movie, but have it in that 240, little bit of fuzz, and it just
Oh, yeah.
it feels nice. It's like a security blanket. Like I don't want to watch all movies like it, but I think I wish there's like a filter on my TV.
Yeah, so you can watch the old movies as you would originally. I get that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's-
because they don't look really the best whenever they got that super definition to them because they
almost
weren't made to
pulls
watch
me
the
out.
movie. Yeah, but Dances with Wolves, besides that, a couple of things with that actually holds up really well because. The reason I was talking about the ending credits and me not being able to watch it much is because as soon as the ending credits start to roll, I'm like, oh, okay, wow, it's over. And Tiny had texted me at that exact second. He said, "Did you watch it?" And I said, "Dude, the credits are rolling. Like it just ended. How would you even know this?" He's like, "I figured it would time out this way."
Yeah, I've seen that movie so many times.
you have a sense.
And he
Well,
wasn't.
I knew he
wrong.
was watching it, and based on what he was saying, I knew about where he was.
Yep. And
So I
then
did some math in my head.
And then I actually got a chance to watch it because I determined, okay, this is going to be worth my time and attention. He did fall in love with the only other white woman in the movie.
Well, they were put together,
That is true.
so it wasn't like he sought that out.
No, but it was just one of those things like they would
But
have.
she went Indian, so she
Yes.
was in fact. I mean, that's using terms that they use in the movie.
That is.
So in fact, he fell in love with a Sioux woman.
Yeah.
That just so happened that she was she was raised by the tribe because her parents were killed by a different tribe when she was very young.
I think I remember hearing something about this, like actual, like historical. There was one of the Native American tribes had some white women with them that one of the white colonies around them had to go. They were like, "Oh, we have to go rescue these women," and they looked and like the women were just like living as part of
Right.
their people.
And that's what was in this movie. It's a very like I'm not going to say historically accurate, but the themes are historically
Yeah,
accurate. I
for
guess,
me,
if that
that's
makes
what
sense.
historical fiction is. It's the bones of it are real, but there's like some Hollywooding it up.
Oh yeah, like all of the story is completely made up bullshit. But it's definitely things that could happen and had happened
Based on
during
real
that
events.
time.
I mean,
Yes.
you could consider Outlander that way if you take out the time travel.
Well, no, we can't. We're also still talking about Dancing with Wolves.
Absolutely, I'm not over talking with
I
Dancing with the
haven't
Wolves because
watched
I
this. I
cried
need
no
to
less than
watch
6
it.
times.
You really do. Like Two Socks. I still
Why
think
didn't you
Two
tell
Socks
me?
lived.
Okay.
I couldn't. I can't.
You should have warned me as an animal.
I didn't
person.
want you to not feel the feelings you're supposed to feel.
Hell,
at
there
that
was a
time.
black dog walking down the road that probably belonged to somebody close to where I live, and it was just wandering off away from. And my wife said, "Honey dog." I said, "We can't help it, honey dog." I'm like, "That's probably somebody's." Like, but then, damn old Two Socks had to go watch him go through what he went through.
Yeah. Well, I think Two Socks is still alive because it doesn't show. But poor old Two Socks, because he was like,
He was just
"That's
curious.
my friend." He was concerned about his buddy.
He was just like making sure everything was okay.
Yeah, he's like, "What? Where's Dunbar going? Like, is he gonna be okay?"
I always hate movies with dog. That I love the dog. Don't hurt the dog.
Well, he's a wolf.
He's a wolf.
It's a puppy. I don't care.
It is a dog. It is a plains puppy.
Well, if you haven't seen the original, you can just wait till next year and just not watch the original. And you can tell us how well the Dances with Wolves with Liam Hemsworth is when they bring it out next year.
I don't
No,
like
don't
remake.
say those
no.
words like that.
Okay,
Unless you haven't seen, they're redoing a reboot of it next. And
No,
it's
they're
coming
not.
out next year with Liam Hemsworth.
No, they're not.
I hate the reboot.
Don't
things.
you even
I
say
have a
that to where it
soapbox
could
to stand
possibly
up.
happen. I will punch you right in the penis with both fists simultaneously.
Boom.
I'm gonna get a front angle and a back angle.
Oh, like,
Ugh.
no, not the grape smasher.
I will. If that does happen, that's what you get.
Well, they
I'll give
say
you the clamps.
No, not the clamps. No. But yeah, seriously, that would be just thinking about them redoing something like that. Just imagine, Tiny. How sad would you be?
I
I'll be
hate
very-
remake things now because they're going to ruin it.
Absolutely. And like one of the final scenes of the movie, I get teary every single time because when he's leaving the camp with his wife and wind in his hair is on top of the fucking cliff screaming to him, it is one of the most powerful moments ever put to film.
Because he's a very solemn character.
Well, he started off just utterly, completely hating John Dunbar with every fiber of his being.
That's who Dances with Wolves' real name is.
Okay.
Yes.
He's a very stoic character, very
And the
quiet,
man is up there pouring his fucking heart out.
screaming to the world just so they know that basically, can you hear me? Dances with Wolves. My name is Wind in my hair, or Wind in his hair, and you are my friend. Basically said, no matter what happens between us, we will always be brothers.
Yeah.
Calm down.
Yeah, like, for real, dude.
I
It
need
makes
to
you
watch
feel
it.
feels.
Oh, because they go through some shit in that movie. They it sucks because Dunbar's there to do a job, and then the ones that are sent out there by the same people to do a similar job think that he's a deserter because he's the only surviving person out there to do a job.
Well, when he got there, they were gone, like all of them. They were wiped out by not the Sioux, but I think they were an Apache tribe, I want to say.
I can't remember what they were called.
Yeah, I can't remember, but anyway, the other tribe, they wiped him out, and he arrives to the fort.
Were they
They're
Mohawk?
gone. They had Mohawks.
They were Mohawk Indians, I think. No, those are different. Those are from up north.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. The non-Sioux, they're the ones that wiped him out. And he's like, well, my orders are to be here. And what really screwed him over is the general that sent him committed suicide right as John Dunbar was riding out of town on his horse named Cisco.
Yep. He was I mean, the movie itself is as long as the Titanic by shy of like 10 minutes.
Another one I haven't seen. Is the Titanic worth watching?
The Titanic is a historic fiction.
It is.
Titanic has probably way more respect for a movie than it deserves. It was a groundbreaking movie at the time for visual effects.
And it was one of the highest grossing movies of all time.
I think it might still be.
Avatar.
I think it-
Avatar beat it out.
I think it might still be in the top 5 or 6
I think so.
of all time still. And it came. I mean, it came in a VHS double box, and it was also one of the movies that you could watch in the movies that was so long that they had an intermission between the first half and second half to let you go get popcorn, snacks, and a pee break.
I really wish they do that with like Endgame. Because like Endgame was like a 3-hour movie, or Infinity War.
Well, see, here's the thing. Dancing with Wolves and the Titanic, they're just slightly more than standard movie length because the standard movie is 2.5 hours now.
Now,
Yeah, 'cause back in the 90s, it was an hour and a half.
Oh
I-
yeah,
I
everything was
miss
to
a 90
the point.
I miss a 90-minute movie.
Sometimes I get now why movies are longer because we make them not as obvious and in your face. Because you watch some of them old 90s movies and you're like, oh,
They're to the point.
that's why it's this short.
They're it's literally cut and dry and to the point. And I mean, if it's entertainment, it's mostly slapstick. There's a whole lot of slapstick in the '90s. A whole lot of like you're stepping on something and it's hitting you in the face. But
It was very like flat.
the Titanic, not to speak ill of the Titanic because it did hold a spot in my head for a long time as a really, really good movie. But as I get older, I'm able to pick out things a whole lot more, and the internet does provide that fuel to me a little bit extra by being able to see the memeage that people make, and I can strengthen my opinions more because I feel like more people have my opinions. Like, oh, I can't believe it's been so long. I've lived for 80 years with this family that I fucking loathe. I miss that homeless man I had sex with on the boat.
And now I'm going to take this like millions of dollar diamond necklace and throw it in the sea.
Oh, that's worthy of a Google. That's worthy of a Google, folks. Let's find out how much the Heart of the Sea would be worth if it was real. How
I
much?
Googled it at one point. I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna
Yeah,
guess.
let's do a Price is Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess off the top of my head. Otto, you can go first.
It's the heart of the ocean. I forgot.
The Heart of the Ocean. Let's see. It's a diamond, right? It's a big ass diamond.
All right.
Hold on. We're gonna guess first.
All right. I got it pulled up, so the numbers can go. Ready? Who's first?
Otto.
I'm gonna go 5 million.
35 million, Bob.
Tiny wins.
What?
This is Price is Right rules. I'm not talking like he did a good job.
Yeah, no. I want to know what it is.
$300 to $500 million.
Whoa! Holy shit! I was
Okay,
way under.
That's way more than
So the old lady was so heartbroken and nostalgic and lovesick over this
over
homeless,
smelly wiener.
over smelly. I won this ticket and I don't have a home, and I'm going to lie and talk about something that happened in America that didn't
but I
happen
could
in
draw
America.
really good.
That couldn't have happened in America because the thing I said happened in America wasn't built at the time when I was on this boat, and it was a film continuity error. But anyway, just
that had to have been the best car fuck of her life.
that had to have been.
That had to, because
She had whoever else she was with the rest of her life never caused her hand to streak down the side of a window.
and that's impressive for a car sex, because if you've had a car sex, it's difficult to get it above like a 5 out of 10 most of the time, because just the constraints of
It's
a
an
car.
improvised
Due to the
thing.
year of that car, they were much taller than the modern cars.
Yes,
That
and
is
they were
true.
bench
and you
seats.
could get a higher number.
That is true, because modernly there's not a lot of room in seats, and as a big man,
Oh yeah.
it doesn't work out very
No,
well.
those were high carriage Model Ts. I believe.
They were.
So if it was a high carriage and they had the bench seats, I think the
I
only
think
thing
they were Model A's.
Were they A's?
actually. Yeah.
if they were A's, they probably would have been safe from it. But the problem with a lot of those old vehicles is they ended up having mites infesting the seats because of the material they used to stuff with them was Spanish moss, and they thought it would be a cheap and effective way to stuff those materials in there. But Spanish moss is actually one of the leading homes to chiggers.
Every time I hear that word, I think it's almost a slur, and I know it's just
Yeah.
the name of that bug.
Yeah,
But
well,
it gives me the same like freak out for a split second.
well, if you've ever dealt with them before, they don't deserve the A. They deserve.
definitely don't. I have had them. I had them at the
You
same
gotta-
time that I had Lyme disease.
You got to like pick. If like you got to like pick them out.
no.
Or is it-
what you're supposed to do? Because I did it. I was taking the medication for the Lyme disease, and when I first got diagnosed with it, I didn't realize that I had chiggers too. And then I went back like after 2 days because I wanted to check them, and I said, "My legs itch so bad." And they're like, "Oh, you have chiggers," and I'm like, "You couldn't have told me that the first time." And
you
they
waited
said,
till now.
"Yeah," they said, "Here's this cream. Apply it from your ears down."
What forest cesspool did you go crawling through to get both Lyme disease and chiggers in the same swoop?
It was Virgin Falls.
Okay.
Oh Lord.
I've not been back since.
Yeah, well,
I don't
clearly,
know
when
if she was a virgin.
Clearly,
I mean,
she was just the falls then, because
Yeah.
you walked out with all kinds of it.
Dude, it was so bad.
Yeah, I think she had a past that she wasn't telling you about, buddy. I hate
Yeah.
to tell you.
But as far as the continuation of
Well,
the
hold
story
on.
of Titanic,
Do you know
goes,
how awful it is to have to drive to your sister's house and
No.
say, "Hey, can you smear my entire back with this cream?" And she goes, "But you're hairy." And I'm like, "I understand." Also, the 60-gram tube, I needed 3 of those because I'm such a large American. I was told 1 tube would be able to do it, and I said, "You're wrong. I have a lot of surface area." I had to get 3 tubes.
I'm roughly 4 Danny DeVitos.
Yeah, I'm roughly 4 Danny DeVitos in an overcoat while holding a raccoon.
So, what do you think that? About 3 tubes.
Yeah, no, I need 240 grams, not 60 grams.
So Titanic was such a big movie for me looking back on like something like that was historical that I got way too in depth in thinking about how that story could have made more sense, and I wrote a sequel to it. And
We all wrote a
Yeah, didn't
sequel
we
to it
all write
on
a
this show.
no, I'm not talking about on the show in the like the Titanic 2 in space with Tobey Maguire and Gary
Danny
Busey's
DeVito.
Sugar-Free Orgasm.
Yep.
That was Gary Busey's Sugar-Free Orgasm. That's the title of that episode.
Oh, right.
Yeah, because that's the one that he had such we have such a traumatic experience in space in that pod. No, but I had written a sequel to it to where Rose had actually got to America, and she started working in a factory because, of course, she was broke because she didn't want anything to do with the rich husband, and she got to America and she didn't have any money or any place to go, so she would have to. What is she going to do? Okay, she's going to be like a lot of the other women. She's going to work textiles. Textiles had problems back in those days in the early 1900s with improper treatment of their workers in the textiles facilities, and they would lock the bar the doors so they wouldn't leave throughout the days, which caused for safety hazards pre-OSHA to be able to burn. Basically, factories catch fire and all of their people burn down with
Oh
the
yeah,
factory.
That
there's
could cause a lot of discord.
That can. And here's a good time for our plugs. Ha! And if you've got some free time, check us out on your social media accounts. We are on Facebook, we are on Instagram, and we are on TikTok. If you're on Instagram and Facebook, you can get us at Nerd Grapevine. Real easy on that. If you're on TikTok, we've got it under my account on there, just because I'm the one who's mostly on there doom scrolling, and I might as well have the videos posted of our friends gathering together with our snippets of fun that we can have together. We got a few fun ones on there. Hercules Plate's my favorite one so far, just because you get on there, you'll find out. Austin.shazam.phi on TikTok.
And check us out on Patreon. You can support the cause and get some extra content. $5 will get you uncut audio, record button to record button, and $10 will get you uncut video and extra videos like The Smoothening, Nerds Day Out, and Nerds Do Discs. Be sure to check out the link in the description, give us some dollars, and get some extra juice.
Find us on Discord as well. There's going to be a QR code right here. Pa-pa. Check that out. Scan it with your phone. It'll take you right to us. It'll take you to what we like to refer to as the Backyard Bonanza. That's the party where we all hang out, and it's a real good time. There's memes and all kinds of stuff. We're on there live, uncut, uncensored, and irrevocably circumcised.
We're also on YouTube. If you want to check us out on there, get on YouTube, type in Nerd It Through the Grapevine, and watch our videos. Thank you for coming back from the plugs.
Yeah, there's actually a like actual thing that happened with that, the waistcoat or shirtwaist factory, I think.
Yes. So I took from that, and I also took from that Jack didn't die on the boat. He even though it looked like he froze and he sank down, he actually thought that Rose was going to be in more danger because of something that was happening with the door. That there was clearly enough room looking back on it, but at the time I was trying to think scapegoaty. I was like, okay, he just was going to let her survive, and he was just going to swim away.
I thought he just saw some mer people and went to live in Atlantis.
No, that would have been a fantasy. We're going with historical fiction, remember? So what happens is
I
he
didn't
ends
know where you was going with the rest of it.
Well, he ends up swimming away from it and gets onto a different lifeboat than her, and he's like so worn out that by the time he gets to the boat that he's basically comatose on the boat. That's the rescue boat. So he ends up coming to in the hospital in America, and he's of course homeless and has no job or anything, but he's also in there with somebody in the hospital that had gotten injured in a fire, but he was a fireman. And Jack ends up becoming trained in the New York City Fire Department and goes and has to rescue Rose from this fire. And he doesn't know that she's gonna be there. She doesn't know he's existing anymore. They are both like unaware.
Does he end up with like the fireman mustache?
I
Time.
it would fit perfectly, and I didn't really paste it that way, but I'd think that a fireman's mustache would go perfectly on Leonardo DiCaprio at the time.
Do you know why they have those?
Why?
So back in the day, before respirators and like oxygen masks were a thing,
Mhm.
when you inhale a lot of smoke, your nose runs and your eyes water and all this stuff.
It was a booger catcher.
Right. So firefighters would use them. They would actually wet them down to help filter out some smoke and deflect your boogers away from your mouth.
Well, that's disgusting, and
Right. But
it had a purpose.
it worked, and that's why even today, firemen still have mustaches.
But wouldn't that fit just perfectly as a good love story and a reuniting of a way?
Be nice, meet cute.
It's a good meet cute by her working in this factory and her going through the improper treatment of the people at the time and experiencing what the lower class of the lower class experiences and lives, because she's from the upper crust, and she gave that all up on the boat whenever she decided she was going to not go with the dude, and she's like, no, I don't want this. No, I'm going to go with Jack. She got rid of all that.
Well, what time period was the Titanic, like year-wise?
1912, April 14th.
Okay, so that's way before the Great.
Whoa.
I thought it was
that
like
was off
40s.
the dome? Is that right?
Give that a go.
April 12th, 1914. No,
Give that a go.
Either April 12th, 1914 or April 14th, 1912.
I think it was 1912 because I think it was pre-World War One.
Yeah, I thought it was closer to World War II time.
No. It was pre-World War One.
Was it?
Yes.
April 14th, 1912.
Holy shit.
Like, good job.
Off the dome.
Good job.
Where did that come from?
Yeah,
Because
where?
I told you, I researched into the time frame that all these things would make sense to bring together to have a continuation. James Cameron,
Did it
listen.
also like flash the date on the movie?
it doesn't have to flash.
Well, I'm just saying that would have ingrained it in your brain because of how your fucking brain works.
No, I don't think it flashed the date on the movie of the Titanic sinking. I think it was just, no, I remember now. Because whenever I was a kid, I was obsessed with this movie, and I got obsessed with the Titanic stuff, and I have that logged into my brain because my house that I grew up in was built in March of 1912. So I logged
Is this the one that had like the dead people room,
Is this the ghost
or the one that we know?
Yeah, the one that the one that had the room.
Okay.
Yeah, that had like the full concrete floor
Full
base-
autopsy
basement.
room?
Yeah.
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 Oh yeah, those are creepy.
Yeah,
I hate those.
So yeah, it was. It had the full slab that's out in front of the shower area.
Yeah,
it was all.
yeah.
That's where my dad would lay towels.
With the trapdoor from the second story.
Yeah, it was. But no, but that was my little obsessive brain was just thinking like, okay, this needs to. something doesn't make sense here. Even when I was a young man, I was thinking like, this doesn't make any sense here as to why she still has all these feelings for this guy. They only met this one time on a boat.
Right.
Like why? Like I get it, it's a love story, and she's reminiscing about it 80 years later. But this one time on this one boat and this couple
I
dances.
mean,
and, like,
have you ever got laid real good?
I'm
I
married
mean,
to her.
it would have to be one of those like ruined other men for her kind of thing for her to throw away the GDP of most.
Now, the only
countries.
thing to me that would make sense
some
is if they
countries.
gave it a real shot.
No, I think
and
you're closer
something
with most countries.
Like the only thing, they got to meet up again. They got to have a real shot at it, and then something has to happen. Now you don't, and I said even from the get go, I said don't even call it Titanic 2 or something cheesy like that. Call it Jack and Rose.
No. Here's what happens: they dodge the Titanic, and then later on in another life, Jack eventually joins the army. It becomes wartime. It's World War One, and then World War Two. Well,
No, it was World War
No,
One.
it would have been
World War One, and she becomes a nurse.
Oh yeah, she's a
of it.
candy striper.
Right? Because she's like, I couldn't save people on the Titanic.
Exactly.
Now-
So she's now. I'm here with you. We're on the
devotes her
same
life.
wavelength. Yeah. So she gets deployed out there into the foreign theater, the same place that Jack is deployed. He's injured going across no man's land to save another platoon that's in the trench across the way. As he's going, a mortar shell hits. Boom! He ends up in the field hospital. Who's there to take care of him? Rose, the candy striper.
And the way you do it is she's looking for dog tags, and then she just sees that, and it's no way, and
Yeah.
runs to him.
Him.
Nah, I don't like that as much, mine.
Well, sorry, Dad.
Yeah. Sorry.
I'm sorry, I
I
can't.
just
get
want you
behind-
to be proud of something we did.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I can't get behind the boat tragedy at the ocean by having another boat take me across the ocean to have another tragedy.
That's what it is.
That's-
They
there
are on
too
a
many
medical
boats for
frigate
you?
that gets attacked by a German U-boat. It's Titanic again, but the iceberg's an explosive round.
I don't know if the U-boat.
Except,
I don't know
instead of an iceberg, it's Pearl Harbor.
They're on Pearl Harbor.
That's
By
World War
God.
II.
They live longer.
This
They
is their
go to Hawaii,
no,
and then
this-
it's Pearl Harbor again.
This is their kids, okay? Rose has a kid named Rose 2. Jack has Jack Jr. They meet at Pearl Harbor.
You're grounded.
And then they have another one. That-
Am I even back on? 'Cause
No.
I can't hear myself at all.
No, you're just in the well deeper.
He keeps putting you down further the more
Why?
you mad at you.
Let me pull you out a little bit more. Quit yelling at me.
Why am I in the well? I didn't do a bad.
I'm with Tiny on this one.
You can go in the damn well too, but it's only one of
it.
you at a time.
That's right.
You belong in the well.
I don't want to be in the well. I just want to have two characters fall in love in a way that made sense for longevity purposes.
What a cinematic
Get in the well,
universe is
Jonah.
Titanic.
I don't want to get in the well.
Get in the well, Jonah.
I watched a movie here recently that has to do with a lot of this time frame stuff that you guys are talking about with historical fiction because I watched the sequel movie to Gladiator.
There's a sequel
Why?
movie to
Why would
Gladiator?
Why would you watch Gladiator
What?
2?
What?
No one asked for that.
Gladiator is perfect as it is.
Gladiator 2 is the perspective of his son when he grows up.
Wait, no.
Who cares? His
Because
kid,
the
his kid was very
fucking
young
died.
in the first one.
The kid
Yeah.
was standing there.
His whole family was
Papa,
killed.
is that Papa? And then gets shit whipped by a goddamn sword and fucking dies.
Yes.
What
His
do you
whole
mean?
family
Like,
gets
Is
murdered.
that Papa? What are you
Yes.
talking- I'm not talking about the Emperor's son. I'm talking about
no.
The Emperor's son wasn't his son.
No, I'm talking about
His actual son with his wife is
Yeah.
killed in the first movie.
It
I'm talking-
literally in
I'm
the
talking
That's
about-
why he was okay with dying in the end because he was going to meet him.
I'm talking about Maximus's son that he had with the daughter of
Look,
Marcus
that's
Aurelius.
That's some bullshit
Yeah,
thing.
didn't he
That's
die?
some bullshit
He died
thing
at
in the
end of
second
Gladiator.
movie.
That's the whole point.
Yes.
And he didn't
he
have.
got
a kid.
sent off, I thought.
No, he
No.
died.
Did he die? Because it showed him getting sent off
No,
in this
he got
movie.
stabbed
Well,
by
then
the
he
gladiator.
died
I guess
in
that's
a
for
Maximus.
I guess that's people that haven't watched Gladiator recently will probably like Gladiator 2 a whole lot better because they won't have that gripe about continuity.
I mean, unless like 'cause,
Maximus
yeah.
straight fucking stabs the emperor.
Yes.
And
And
he
he
also
dies.
dies.
Yeah.
Because it's
That
one
was
of
his
those
final
like,
thing,
my
because-
final act is to kill this. fucker.
Exactly. And his sister took over.
The daughter of Marcus Aurelius.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, she took over as the new ruler because she was like, this man died for us. We're going to honor him.
And her son with Maximus.
When did they have a kid?
They didn't have a kid. She was raped by her brother repeatedly in the first one.
That's yes.
If
but,
anything, that kid is her brother's.
but it said it was
Wait,
it was
That's
it
some
was
bullshit
happened?
episode 2
well,
shit.
well, let me get it. Let me look it up. Let me try to connect the dots
'Cause
for you on
I'm
here.
telling you, like, yeah, no,
Actually, I've got the robot to help me with this now. I don't even have to type something. Hey Siri, who is the main character of Gladiator 2 and how is he connected to the original movie?
come on, robot, do your thing.
Robot better.
Let's see.
Go to the International Movie Database. I'm sure they'll have a synopsis.
.com, the International Movie Database.com.
It says his name is Lucius Verus.
Okay, what is
And
his
he is a
relation?
character who is a continuation and a bridge for the legacy of Maximus.
Decimus Meridius.
Yes.
Put respect on that name.
Well, no, this is, I was just reading it the way that it has here. Lucius is the son of the one that was the next to the co-emperor of Marcus Aurelius and Lucilla. He's yeah, no, it's Marcus. It's Maximus's illegitimate son that he had with the lady.
Hashtag not my gladiator movie.
I haven't watched Gladiator in a minute, but I don't remember them getting down to
That is
pound
an
I'm
fight.
gonna try
episode 2 bullshit.
I'm gonna try to ask one more time, and I'm gonna see if ChatGPT can help. Okay, just give me a second here. Hey Siri, how is the main character from Gladiator 2 connected to the movie Gladiator?
What has the robot said?
Can you get ChatGPT's help with this?
Robot, consult the other robot.
Well, it's tired.
Man, we've gotten to the
Well,
point where
well,
we
see,
can
well,
ask
here-
our
here's the
robots to
thing.
ask robots.
Here's the thing. All of this that you're trying to get the thing to tell you to do
It shouldn't
was
have to.
only in the second movie.
Well, the second movie was really cool. I mean,
They
Pedro
just tried to come up with some reason to make a second one that nobody asked for.
Why do they do
it
that?
had a lot of good action in it, and the
I know
story
it
of it was
did.
really
if
good.
I wanted
first
more
one-
Gladiator, I
and he-
just watched
Perfection.
Gladiator.
And he got
again.
to wear his father's
Exactly.
armor whenever he was taking out the emperor and some shit. I mean, it was pretty cool.
No, the first one was all that needed to exist. It is one of my top 3 movies of all time. We needed no continuation. Why did you do this?
Well, because they wanted to, and they needed to make more money.
That's like the Lilo and Stitch
It's like
remake that
20
doesn't
years
need
too
to
late.
exist.
Oh, you mean the live action Lilo and
It
Stitch?
doesn't. It's the
There's
same.
a live
movie.
action Lilo and Stitch.
They've
coming.
released. Okay, I can get on my soapbox. I've already told Austin about this at disc golf.
He
but
did.
so the trailer has come out, and on a CGI level, looks really cool. Like, yep, that's live action. Every shot I've seen of it is something I've seen in the movie. So, what is the point of this movie? It's like if I wanted to watch Lilo and Stitch, I would watch the original animated Lilo and Stitch. If I wanted to watch Lilo and Stitch but a different story, why would I want to do that? I already have Lilo and Stitch. Like, what's the point of this fucking movie existing? It pisses
Well,
me off.
I mean, didn't they do that with The Lion King
yes,
and Aladdin
it's like,
and Pinocchio?
do you know what whenever I want
I
to
don't
watch
think they did
Aladdin,
Pinocchio.
do you know what I want to watch? The original Aladdin. I don't
Yeah.
want to watch
I
Dollar
want to
General
see
Aladdin.
Robin Williams as the genie.
Yeah, I want to see do you know why I like this animated film? Because it's animated.
Mhm.
Oh, it pisses me off. I can get on this soapbox all day
Why don't you?
because
Because we got to get back to the topic.
I
at
understand.
hand.
I was trying to find
Dude,
out.
what-
I was
what
trying
am
to
I-
give you some Lucius details here because I really wanted to know what the why would they decide to make it after him, and where was he actually in the first
because
movie?
they're grasping at straws because
Yeah,
it
they're-
wasn't originally made to be
exactly.
a sequel.
Exactly. That was their only way to tie it in.
Because in the first movie, it wasn't actually something they talked about. It was only hinted at in the first
It was
movie.
not even hinted at in the
I
first
bet you if you
one.
go back to the first
It
movie
was-
and watch it, they'll hint it.
They'd had a previous like romantic relationship.
See, the
one
second that I
point.
have to start thinking about a movie like this, it has failed as a movie. If I have
Yeah.
to be like, wait a minute, what's the other movie?
Because it was
about?
this little boy.
He died.
He died.
That was that little boy.
He
Yeah, he
got
died.
killed
Well, it
by a
showed-
sword.
It
and
showed him
burned.
getting whisked away and traveling to a different place. I guess they retconned that if that's
Dude,
what happened.
there
in
is
the
a
first one.
straight up shot of the kid getting stabbed, by, like slashed by the sword.
Well, that's the thing. In the second movie, everybody's talking about like he's dead. Like they're not because they believe he's dead. Like that's the royal bloodline's been pretty much culled. So the
okay,
new
so
emperor's.
this is no, but actually, here's what happened.
Yeah, it wasn't actually. I guess if that's the case,
That's
what if we go
lame.
back and watch it and we Mandela it ourselves? And
No,
he actually
I-
does
because-
exist that way. in the
Okay,
first
I
movie.
know this is real because I've had friends talk about how it's so funny to see this kid get smacked down by a sword just because it's the most brutal, like, Papa, shunk, and the kid is chopped in half.
But what if you're thinking of a different kid? Because there were different kids.
No, because it's after when he gets in prison, the one Joaquin Phoenix's Emperor character is like, I want to cut in this, and sends a guard out to the farm and kills everybody and burns their bodies. And then he goes, once he escapes, to the farm and sees the burned bodies of his wife and his son.
Yeah.
And buries them. It is one of the most impactful moments of the scene
Yeah,
because it is his
it's-
hardening of,
yeah.
I'm going to kill this guy.
Well, I just know that if I'm ever in a wheat field anywhere and I do anything besides rake my hand along it and hum to myself,
that was the movie's depiction of paradise.
I mean, honestly, it did seem pretty like chill.
Well,
I would, if I was in
yeah.
a wheat field, I would do that.
just humming to myself.
Just
Meanwhile, the
feel-
person driving the combine driving by me like, "What the fuck are you doing? Get out on drugs! You get out of my field! What are you doing wearing that skirt? Oh, holy shit! He's wearing that skirt. Honey, we got another one of them gladiator freaks out here.
He ate the mushrooms off the cow field again.
He's out here humming to himself and stroking the wheat.
Oh God!
Oh, the law, he's out here again.
I hate the fact that you're making this a joke.
It's the sad. It's the sad part.
It's so sad.
It's the sad part of the movie, but it is the representation of him going to paradise.
It's the like, I've completed, I'm at peace, I've solidified myself, and I'm okay moving on.
Well, if it makes you feel any better about Gladiator 2,
Nothing will.
he closes his eyes and does that instead of having to die.
What's the point?
You know, if a guy walked in with the Gladiator 2 in his hand in the shape of grapes,
I'd spit
I
in it.
would stomp them motherfuckers until they're nothing but purple goo.
And I would just tell him that I've got a girlfriend.
And then I would piss on the goo.
Oh. Piss jam.
Welcome
Hey,
to the
yeah.
piss
You-
jam.
You would
The
you would
piss
take
jam.
you would take the grape shaped Gladiator 2, put it in a cup, and you would shove your hand into it until it formed an air pocket inside of the cup from you shoving your hand into the cup so many times, and you would pull your hand out of the cup and shake it a little bit, and that sounded like water going down a bathtub drain, and then you'd get a crown on the top of your head, and you say, "I achieved what I achieved, and I get the title that I get as the Queef Queen."
Absolutely. That's exactly what I would do.
Like water down. Oh my
The
God.
whole time my eyes would be closed.
Oh my God! It reminds me of hearing something that was said back whenever I was a cop. It was a cop that was a very redneck cop that said very inappropriate things. He said this to a female one time. He called her Taylor Swift because she had really curly blonde hair, and he said to her, "Dando, Taylor Swift, you ever had an old boy get from behind you so quick, he pull out real fast, sound like water going down a bathtub drain, and just go."
Oh God.
Thanks for joining us this week, everybody. I hope you've had a fun time talking about some past events that were based in a fictional setting. There were no mermaids and there was no time travel because this was a fiction, not a fantasy. So that's what we got clarified today.
No mermaids.
Also,
No wizards.
let us know, because I know that you listeners will eventually talk to us. Let us know which one sounds better to you: the army medic or the fireman textile worker.
I mean, they both sound good.
They could both be plausible.
Yeah.
It could both be plausible. I mean,
I'm
honestly,
partial to the Army one myself.
Maybe it's an AU multiverses.
I've also been watching a lot of the Fat Electrician, which is why I might be into the Army one more.
the
Oh,
fat
well,
electrician, is
World
that a
War-
show?
We'll talk about that after the show.
Okay.
In World War One,
It's
so
a YouTube.
interesting.
It's fantastic. It's like
I
history
understand
stuff.
the addiction. It's there.
All right, everybody. Well, you have a good rest of your week, and we'll catch you next week. Thanks for joining us.
Rest out.
Yeah.
Seacrest out.
Jesus.
My ass. My ass.
So here's to friends and